Talking to another guy yesterday who's got 950,000 subs, and he's been around that number for about 6 months. He's reached where his audience, they don't have interest on the same things he talked about for the last 2 years because his content is limited based on life experiences, and he no longer has any life experiences to share that's new. They've heard all of it. So now what does he do? If he doesn't adjust, he's gonna be a YouTube channel that got 1 million subs based on the videos he did, not any more interest on anything new.
You gotta just press record.
If you can be yourself and create content so you're not acting, I think you're winning. But if you have to play somebody else to get eyeballs where you're acting, and that's what gets the eyeballs, where the you won't get the real eyeballs, I think that's a conflict. That's a little bit of a conflict. So everything to me is what happens. For example, let's just say I'm telling you, you got to live by these 10 rules. These are the 10 values and principles. Sean, you got to live by this. And I'm your dad and I'm telling you this. And I don't live by that. Deep down inside, I have conflicts. And I have internal conflict, which is the worst kind of conflict. Forget about the conflict I have with you. I have internal conflict. Because when there's internal conflict, everybody around you feels it, right? Because you're not living an aligned life. When I was creating content and I'm trying to be something I'm not, I'm like, not only am I not enjoying it, but it's not also doing good. So I don't care to be that. Listen, I can't help myself. I love talking about politics. I'm gonna keep doing that. I love capitalism. I'm gonna keep doing that. I love entrepreneurship. I'm gonna talk about that. I love, interviewing people who are in certain industries that I have interest over. I'm gonna keep pursuing that topic. And then if there's an audience for it, fantastic. If there's not, it's all good. But trying to compromise who you are on the big screen to get eyeballs versus, my biggest suggestion would be try to match these two together. And then listen, it doesn't mean you don't get creative. You want to get creative, we'll have a board here, we'll sit down and I had a meeting with a couple of my content creators on talent, and I'm sitting there talking to one of them, I'm saying, listen, why are you still talking about this? Well, because it's what I stand for. There's no way I cannot talk about this. I said, listen, that's 9 months ago. People have moved on. It's over. What other interests do you have? So I sat and had a 2-hour meeting with one of my content creators, and I said, what bothers you? We wrote it down, 20 things. What do you love? We wrote it down. What do you hate? We wrote it down. When you were a kid, what interests did you have? What do you know a lot about that I don't know? Do you know a lot about the Yankees? Do you know a lot about the history of animals? Do you like lions? Did you grow up tell me what do you know about Middle East? Did you study theology? Do you know a lot about politics? Do you know a lot about the law? What do you know a lot about? Yesterday, I'm sitting with my son, my 10-year-old son tells me, he says, Daddy, do you know that there's certain sea bass that you eat that has a poison that if you eat the sea bass, hot becomes cold and cold becomes hot, that you can't even have ice in your drinks because your mouth will feel like you're on fire. I'm like, what are you talking about? He says, no, I'm telling you. Like, this guy's trying to pull a prank. So I go and I research. I'm like, this kid is right. There's a poison what did you learn about this? I read it in a book. So my son loves reading the 5,000 fact books, right? So if he wanted to create content, he can create a fact thing. He can do different things. So talking to another guy yesterday who's got 950,000 subs, and he's been around that number for about 6 months. You know how frustrating it is to be at 950.
Sure.
Very annoying because you're kind of like, dude, I'm right there at 1 million, but I'm annoyed, right? And he's reached the limit of his content. He's reached where his audience, they don't have interest on the same things he talked about for the last 2 years because his content is limited based on life experiences, and he no longer has any life experiences to share that's new. They've heard all of it in 200 episodes. So now what does he do? He has to figure out a way, because the audience is like, we got everything from you already. Now you're trying to give us something new. If he doesn't adjust, he's gonna be a YouTube channel that got 1 million subs based on the videos he did, not any more interest on anything new. It's a very emotional place to be when you're there, because you're no longer getting that attention. So it is an emotional job. It is tough. It is draining. Your insecurity is gonna come out. You're gonna be going on streaks where you feel like nobody cares anymore. You're forgotten about. But if you constantly try to recreate yourself while still staying true to your values and principles, new audience will constantly show up.